Time to start Season 2 in the LA Galaxy Challenge.
The Galaxy is coming on.
Good news in the off-season as Chicharito got his green card, freeing up one more international slot on the roster. We needed a big name signing to support our now 34-year-old striker. So I signed another 34-year-old striker. Welcome to LA, Diego Costa. I'm sure you'll make your mark. We also brought in young Mexican midfielder Medina from Club America and veteran centre-back Zapata from San Lorenzo. We worked on a 4-4-2 in pre-season, so both designated players could play together. So how would this new strike force with a combined age of 68 fare in our opening game against Sporting Kansas City? Pretty well it would turn out, as Chicharito slammed in a hat-trick to get his season off to a flyer, and then Diego Costa bagged a goal on his debut. We would play the same opponents again a few days later, because MLS, and again grabbed a comfortable win. And a great moment against LAFC in our next game as Cabral scored after 9 months out injured in a 2-0 win. Have I turned LA Galaxy into the most environmentally friendly club in the MLS? I mean, look at all that green. 8 wins in our first 8 games with Chicharito, Costa, Cabral and Jordan Morris leading the way. It was only in Game 9 away to Cincinnati when we finally dropped points in a 3-3 thriller. Would this be the beginning of a bad run? An emphatic no, as we hammered Minnesota 8-1. The following week, Chicharito scoring 5, and me running out of things to say while the goals keep coming in the highlights. 3 more green dots followed, with 3 clean sheets as well, as we stood tall and proud at the top of the standings 13 games in. Surely the wheels are going to fall off at some point. So everything was going great at LA Galaxy, top of the league, on a record-breaking unbeaten run. Chicharito singing my praises, and me returning the compliments. Sorry, Haaland. What could go wrong? Well, the first problem came as Gold Cup kicked off in the summer of 2023. Unlike pretty much every other league in the world, the MLS stops for nothing. Not even a continental tournament, not even one held in its own backyard, which meant Gonzalez was off with Costa Rica and Chicharito was off with Mexico, throwing Cabral being away at the African Cup of Nations with Cape Verde, and we faced a tough summer. We soldiered on through June, thanks to Jordan Morris and Diego Costa still picking up the points, but then devastating news. Clubs from Europe started to show interest in Chicharito, and he wanted one more run in the European League.
Wait. No, don't do it! Please, don't go!
I tried to offer a new contract, but his agent wouldn't even talk to me. Despite lots of positive things to say about me and working with Diego Costa, he was set on Werder Bremen. The best I could do was persuade him to stick around until the end of the season, and hope we can talk him round before then. And with all this hanging over us, we finally suffered our first defeat of the season at Colorado. So like and follow to find out if we can hang on to our star player, or do we have to rebuild? With all the drama around Chicharito possibly leaving, an unlikely loyalist stepped forward in the shape of Diego Costa.
Yeah, I'm still here.
And we turned our attention to the US Cup. First up, an extra El Tráfico coming just 1 week after an MLS clash. And we won both matches. Of course we did. FC Dallas were up next, and Costa guided us through despite a Grandsir sending off to set up a quarter-final clash with Cincinnati. And he guided us through that as well with a brace in a 2-0 win. So Seattle would come to town for the semi-final, and after an opening goal from Cabral, Costa was on target again, with Chicharito, future uncertain but back from the Gold Cup, also on the score sheet, as we picked up a 3-1 win to set up a West-East Coast clash with New York Red Bulls.
West Side is the best!
After a tense opening half hour, we broke the deadlock with a penalty from Chicharito. A second goal soon followed and we were cruising. Despite me geeing up the boys at half-time, Gonzalez decided to make things more interesting by gifting the New Yorkers a goal. Morris soon had us back in a 2-goal lead, until I sensed the FM gods starting to turn against us as this goal came like a bolt from out of nowhere. And then the dreaded stoppage time highlight. But we won the ball back and crafted a chance of our own, and in the end celebrated our first trophy with LA Galaxy. Last year we came so close in the Campeones Cup. I mean the League's Cup final. This year we wanted to go one better and grab a third trophy. We started by scraping through a tie with Monterrey on penalties, a side that had just signed Brenner from Cincinnati. That first round saw most of the Liga MX teams eliminated, and we would face MLS opponents only from there on in. New England were no match for us in the quarterfinals. We steamrolled them 7-0. Diego Costa bagging 4 of the goals. Another big win followed in the semis, 4-0 this time over FC Dallas, setting another trip to Las Vegas for a final with Charlotte FC. We went to the Allegiant Stadium in search of a treble, and we lost. Again, 1 goal was all it took, and try as we might, we just could not get that equaliser. And for the 2nd year running, we had to watch as another team lifted the trophy. Throughout our outstanding US Open Cup run, we continued to dominate the MLS like a
Protein bars.
only dropping 2 points in our 12 games following that loss to Colorado, getting our names etched on the Supporters' Shield, with there still being 4 games to go. A side note for non-MLS fans, the Supporters' Shield is like an overall league table of the Western and Eastern Conferences, with the trophy awarded to the team that comes first overall. So if the game says that's a double, we'll take it. All we needed to do now was sort out the situation with Chicharito. To briefly recap, he wanted to leave for Europe. I persuaded him to stay until the end of the season, at which point we would sit down together and go through his options. 2 weeks after that chat, he signed a pre-contract with Chivas. We came here to win the CONCACAF Champions League. I had dreamed of seeing Chicharito scoring the winning goal in the final, and that was all it would be.
Just a dream.
Well, we would have to make use of our Mexican icon while we still could. And we finished the season with 3 more wins. Just never mind the Seattle game. Hopping that Western Conference table and the Supporters' Shield by some considerable distance. Having dominated the regular season in the MLS, it was time for the playoffs. A whole 3 weeks after our last game of the regular season against Nashville, we learned we would face Seattle in the Western Conference semi-finals. Starting one of his last games in a Galaxy shirt, Chicharito opened the scoring before Cifuentes bent it like Beckham with a cracking free kick. A 2-0 win set up a conference final with El Tráfico rivals LAFC, a team we had beaten 4 times before under my management.
You California boys got it too easy.
Chicharito opened the scoring early. But referee, come on. Offside. Then some questionable goaltending from Bond allowed Rodriguez to open the scoring. Diego Costa then went close and then scored. But no, the referee came to ruin our day again, and those 2 offsides would be our undoing as LAFC went on to shut us out, ending the story of our season.
It looked easy, but oh, what happened?